on the shelf, cause the way the real wealth is being real itself. My eyes can see the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. It's time to switch it up, put the hip shit on the shelf, cause the way the real wealth is being real itself. My eyes can see the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help.
Money, money, money. All you have is not growing being wealthy. Like Kanye West said, having money is not everything, not having it is. No, Deuteronomy 8:18 that God gives us the ability to create wealth. No, it's the love of money that's you don't like money so much, why you get up and go to work? I'm just trying to leave a legacy for money. It's not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. Now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, financial health mentor to the morning class, Mr. E43.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, each and every one of you. It is your main man, H. Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the working class, where I do my absolute best to bring practical yet proven wealth building strategies to working class men and women all over this great nation of ours. Good morning, Ray J. Do me a huge favor, you're checking us out on Facebook Live. You want to share this stream on your timeline, because I promise you this morning, we're talking about an 8-step turnaround that will take you from where you are right now to where you want to be. See, a lot of us have aspirations and we have goals. We just don't know how to get there. Well, I'm gonna give you an 8-step approach to help you get to that financial turnaround. So share this stream. Can I get some help from you? Yeah, whatever you need, Curtis. I think I put my number in the last time we messaged each other. Let's try to connect later today. So share the stream, and I'm going to give you an 8-step solution to a financial turnaround. But really, this is a turnaround in any area of your life. You have to do a set of 8 things. Thanks for sharing, Ray J. And then if you're checking us out on YouTube, then do me the same favor. Grab the link and then go ahead and share this link with others. Let me turn the sound off because y'all gonna keep hearing that little buzz. There we go. Share this link with others. If you share it on Facebook, they can watch it right inside of their timeline. As always, let me tell you who this show is for. This show is for my risers and grinders this morning. You up every morning watching this show because you want more out of life. You are on the mission to get up and get out and get something. And you're not going to let all your time pass you by like my good friends Outkast used to sing and rap about. If you went to bed last night thinking about your legacy, this show is for you. If you're the type of person that understands the importance of sacrifice so you can build a foundation for your children and your children's children to build upon, then this show, my friend, is for you. If you're the type of person that's got the desire deep down inside to build wealth, to create that legacy, if you have the discipline, but maybe you lack the game plan, maybe you need some financial truths, some wisdom, a mentor, then this show, my friend, is for you. Now, who is this show not for? Right? If you're sitting back watching the election closely because you want to see if Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump is going to fix the economy instead of focusing on your economy, this show, my friend, is not for you. If you are in the position where you're thinking about, or you don't like the fact that I just said the word money 13 times in the last 2 minutes, this show ain't for you, because I can promise you this. I'm going to say money, wealth, legacy another 300 times in the next 25 minutes or so. So this show is not for you. If you are the type of person that got that weird relationship with money where you think capitalism is a dirty word, you think money is evil, this show ain't for you, man, because people like that don't understand. But when you have that type of relationship with money, you tend to repel it away from you and never attract it to you. So if you're that kind of person and you listen to this show, you're probably going to start attracting money to you. And if you don't want that, this show is not for you. But let me be very clear. I don't have a problem with you not wanting to be wealthy. It's your prerogative to want to be average, or it's your prerogative to want to be content and complacent with where you are financially. I only have a problem with you when you have a problem with me wanting to be wealthy. Because guess what? If you've never seen a future billionaire, I want you to take a screenshot. I want you to quote me on this. You're looking at one right now. And if you have a problem with that, this show, my friend, is not for you. Today's show is brought to you by National Credit Educational Services. If you need credit restoration versus credit repair, then I want you to send me an inbox and I will give you the link to National Credit Educational Services. They will provide you some tips on how to clean up or restore your credit on your own. But if you want them to do it for you, I think it's a flat fee of $350, and it's an ongoing process. They will work with you and get your credit completely restored. Again, that's National Credit Educational Services. Send me an inbox if you need credit restoration, and I will get you the link so that you can partner with them and see what that is all about and see if that is a good fit for you. There's a difference between credit restoration and credit repair. Repair tends to wipe everything off your credit. Well, guess what? A large portion of your credit is predicated on history. And if they wipe everything off your credit, now you have no history. So that's not a good thing either. So you want your credit restored, and National Credit Educational Services can do that for you. Send me an inbox if you need that link, and I will get it over to you guys. So today we're talking about an 8-step financial transformation, guys, or a financial turnaround. Anything that you're going to need to do to improve your situation, you're going to have to follow these 8 steps. Now, you may not follow them in this particular order, but I think the number one thing you have to do, it will always have to be in this order. Now, this information came from my man, Myron Golden. If you're not familiar with who Myron Golden is, he's a best-selling author, world-renowned business coach and educator, and he teaches biblical principles on how to have success, financial wisdom, financial peace, and basically how to use the Bible. We know the Bible is good for feeding our spirit, but the Bible is also good for feeding your flesh when you apply biblical principles to your day-to-day life. And he's an expert at teaching that. So I got this from one of his lectures. So I always want to give credit where credit is due. And to let you know that your financial health mentor does have mentors. I'm constantly studying. I'm constantly bringing you this information so that you can get better. So number one thing that you have to do is you have to first and foremost seek a turnaround. Guys, when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, you can't just lay flat on your back and expect things to change for you. You have to start looking for that change. You have to start looking for a way out. You have to start looking for help in the area that you need a turnaround in. That's how I found Myron Golden, because I'm constantly looking for ways to help me improve my situation. Right? So number one is you have to first and foremost seek the turnaround. Some people want to turn around, but every time an opportunity presents itself for them to turn their situation around, because they're not looking for it, they can't see it. Right? So number one, you have to seek the turnaround. Number two, when you seek the turnaround, sometimes that is looking externally for help to get what you need to make that turnaround happen. Number two, you have to see your treasure. This is when you look within and look at the gifts, talents, and abilities that God has blessed you with. See your treasures. If you don't see yourself as valuable, or the things that you offer, your abilities, your gifts, and your talents, if you don't see them as valuable, then no one else ever will. So number one, you have to first seek your turnaround. Number two, you have to see your treasure. You have to see the value that you have to be able to bring to the marketplace, to bring to the world. Number three, you have to submit to a teacher or a mentor. You have to get somebody in your life who knows more than you, who is going or has been where you want to go, and who can help lead you to get there. All right. You have to submit to a mentor. And here's why most people will not submit to a mentor, because sometimes your mentor will tell you to do things that makes absolutely no sense to you. Sometimes your mentor will tell you to do things that make absolutely no sense to you. And you say to yourself, this fool crazy. And then you pull yourself away from that person. Well, you have to remember that person is either already going or has already been where you're going, or is on his way there and is helping you avoid some pitfalls. So while you don't completely understand why they're telling you to do what they're telling you to do, that's where the term submission comes in at. I'm just going to trust and submit that you're telling me to do this because it's going to help me in the long run, even though I do not understand what you're telling me to do or why I should be doing it. So the first three, and recap real quick. Number one, you have to seek a turnaround. If you don't like where you are, you have to do something about it. And you start by looking for things that's going to help you get out of that situation. You have to seek a turnaround before you can get that turnaround. Number two, you have to see your treasure. You have to see the value in yourself. What is it in you that is valuable about you? Because if you don't see value in yourself, the world will never see value to it. Submitting is hard for a lot of people, and that's why a lot of people are average and below, Sandra. You're absolutely right. Number three, you have to submit to a teacher or a mentor, even when that person is telling you to do things that you don't completely understand. You have to just submit and trust. If that person is where you want to be, then trust the process that they're putting you through to get you there also. Number four, you have to select your team. Selecting your team is important, guys. We often hear the phrase self-made millionaire, but how many of you guys know that's an oxymoron? There's no such thing as a self-made millionaire. Every millionaire has a team. And if you don't have a team and you're trying to do this thing alone, I promise you, you're not going to make it. Right? There's an ancient African proverb that I love to death, and I quote it all the time. You may have heard me say it on this show before. It says, to go fast, go alone. But to go far, go together. You've got to select your team. And what I like to teach people to do, my signature workshop is building a family empire from scratch. So the first place that you look for the selection of that team is in your own household. So my children are my team, right? My immediate family are my team, my sisters and brothers. That I'm starting there. And then if they don't want to play ball, then you go outside and you start looking at best friends and close associates and things of that nature. But you're going to need a team if you're going to have a financial turnaround, a business turnaround, a turnaround in your relationships, a turnaround in any capacity of your life is going to require a team of people to help you, right? Then once you have that team in place, you got your team in place, you're going to have to systemize your task or systemize the task that every team member is responsible for. We talk about all the time the four things that wealthy people have in their life. One of those four things is systems, right? What does system stand for? Save yourself some time, energy, and money. System allows you to save yourself some time, energy, and money. That's what a system does. So once you have a team in place and you want to be efficient with this turnaround, the best way to create efficiencies is to create systems, right? So whatever this turnaround, you want this turnaround to be both effective for you, but you also want it to be efficient. Because I get it. Most of us are in the situations that we're in today, and now we didn't get into those situations overnight. It took us years of programming, years of bad habits, years of making the wrong choices that landed us where we are. Now, we understand that to get us out of these situations, it will take time. But when you learn how to be both effective and efficient, it doesn't have to take you the same 20 years that it took you to get into this mess to get out of it. So you want to compress time. So it took you 20 years to get into it. So you want to figure out how to use systems to get out of it in 5 years versus taking 20 years for you to overcome all the mess that you've been through to get you in this situation. Now, because we're specifically talking about a financial turnaround, we're going to talk about this topic and want to stick on it for a little bit because this is extremely important for your financial turnaround. We talked about number two is you searching your treasure, you understanding the gifts, talents, and abilities that you've been blessed with so that you can know what your value is. But ultimately, you have to get to a place where you're bringing that value to the marketplace. And this part, I guarantee you that there's 14 viewing here. There's a couple viewing on YouTube. Most of y'all don't want to hear this, man, but it's the absolute truth. You have to, number 6, learn how to sell. There's 2 people that's always going to be able to eat on this planet: the person who knows how to work with their hands and the person that knows how to sell. Guys, we've been systematically programmed to hate sales, to turn our back on sales, to never want sales, to not want to do with anything, have anything to do with sales. But what you have to realize is that every second of every minute of every hour of every day, something is being bought and or sold. Question you have to ask yourself is, who's earning the commission? Right? And if you're not selling, then what are you doing? You're buying. You're not going to have a financial turnaround if you're always on the buying end. If you are a master consumer and you're not a producer or a seller, you will never have a financial turnaround. You're going to have to get over this thing where people are, or we've been programmed to believe that selling is a bad thing. I'll tell you why you have a problem with selling. Because the way the system has manipulated us is because we are in a place now that we believe that selling is the equivalent of manipulation. Because we see selling as getting somebody to buy something that they don't necessarily want or need or will help them. But selling, to me, is the uncovering of the value that I have so well that you are willing to part with your money to get the value that I have. That's what selling is. It's not about me manipulating you to buy something that you don't want or don't need. And that's why we have a problem with selling, because we think that salespeople are master manipulators. Well, that's not the case. A good salesperson is going to reveal to you the value that he has to offer and how that value can help you, and let you then make the decision on whether or not this is something that you want. If you will not overcome your fear of selling, overcome your apprehension, overcome your misbeliefs and miseducation as it relates to selling, you will always have problems financially, right? Who are the top people in this country, in this world, that make the most money? Those who know how to sell and those who know how to produce. But guess what? Sometimes the producers don't even get as much money as those who sell that which has been produced. You have to learn how to sell. That's a skill. It's an art form. But you first have to get over the mental blocks that come attached with us learning the sales process, because we've all been sold to and we've all been manipulated by somebody and bought something that we really didn't need. But it wasn't on that salesperson, it was on us. We had some internal inadequacies that allowed that manipulation to take place. All right. So if you don't learn how to sell, you're going to struggle. All of us have been blessed with gifts, talents, and special abilities. All right. You can take those gifts, talents, and special abilities to the marketplace and draw value from the marketplace in direct proportion to the value that you're giving to the marketplace. If you refuse to sell, you're going to have struggles financially, right? What is your employer doing with your skills? Your skills is helping your employer sell. Think about it like this. None of us would have a job today if it wasn't for sales. I don't care what you do on your job, you support the creation of, the building of, the technical support for products and services that are being sold by your company. So if all the salespeople in your company quit today, you wouldn't have a job. So you have to understand that selling takes place 24/7. And if something is being bought, something is being sold, somebody's earning commission. Why is that not you? All right. We have to sell ourselves to the job to begin with. But that's where it ends for most people, Jackie. They sell themselves to the job and that's it. But you learn how to sell. I don't care what it is. You bake cookies in your spare time. Put the mugs in a box, put your name on the box, and you sell those cookies in the neighborhood. I don't care what it is that you know how to do. All of us know how to do something better than most. So much so that somebody is willing to either pay us to teach them how to do it, they're willing to pay us to do it for them, or they're willing to pay us to do it with them, or they're willing to pay us to purchase products and services from us that will help them do that. So when you understand that, you start thinking to yourself, number two, search your treasures. See your treasure. You do inventory of the gifts, talents, and abilities that you have, and you say, you know what? How can I package this to make it valuable so that the value can be uncovered so that someone who needs this will ultimately see the value in it, and it will be so valuable that at that point in that person's life, it will become more valuable than money, so that they will exchange their money for their service, right? Because we know that at some point in our lives, things become more valuable than money, right? I'll give an example. You're driving your car, you look down at the gas hand, and your gas hand is on E. You riding on fumes. At that point, is gas more valuable than money? Of course. So you pull over to the gas station and you do what? You give the less valuable money to get the more valuable gas, because at that point in time, gas is more valuable than your money. Give another example. You've been ripping and running all cotton picking day long, forgot breakfast, didn't have time for lunch, now you're starving. At that point in your life, is food more valuable than your money? Absolutely, because you're starving. So you would take yourself into a restaurant, into a grocery store, and you would exchange your less valuable money for more valuable food at that time and place in your life. So understand that you have to search your treasure to see what it is that you bring to the marketplace that has value. And then you have to learn how to communicate that value to others, uncover that value, and that allows people to see that what you bring to the marketplace has a certain value. If that value at that point in that person's life is more valuable than the money they have in their hand, they will gladly give you that money for that thing of value. I teach financial education. I have a financial success membership. Everybody doesn't want my financial success membership. Why? Because at this point in their life, having additional money and learning how the money game works is not more valuable than the money that they're holding in their hand. For about 60 or 70 families across this country, they've said, you know what? The education that you provide is more valuable than the money in my hand. So I'm going to exchange the money in my hand for the value that you have, which is going to ultimately help me replace the money that I gave you and then some. So you have to meet people at the right point in their life, but you have to constantly be uncovering your value and learn how to communicate that value to others in order for them to see the value that you bring to the marketplace, because that value you will be paid in direct proportion to the value that you bring to the marketplace. And I believe we beat this one long enough, but if you don't learn how to sell, you will always struggle financially. I guarantee you that. You know why? Because people around you will always be selling to you. So think about it this way. If you're always being sold to and you're never selling, that means you're the consumer all the time. So your money is constantly flowing away from you, but you're not replacing that except for on your job. Right? The saying goes like this, man. Wealthy people earn profits. Poor people and slaves earn wages. I'll say that again. Wealthy people earn profits. Poor people and slaves earn wages. Right? So if you're not in a position where you can earn profits, that's why you have to learn how to sell. Why is that important? Because when I'm in position to earn profits, then I can create my own destiny. right? If I can sell one thing, then I can scale it up and sell 10 things. I can scale it up and sell 100 things. I can scale it up and sell 1,000 things. So I determine what my pay is, what my value is, what my worth is. If I can only earn wages, then somebody else determines my value. Somebody else determines my destiny. Somebody else determines my future. So guys, get over yourself, learn how to sell. That's where the money is really made, in sales and also in imagination. We'll talk about it on another show. Then once you learn how to sell, then you can settle your debts. That's number 8. Settle your debts. All that simply means is you bring extra income coming in. Now, if you have any debts because of your previous lifestyle, then that extra income could be used to eliminate your debts, right? Settle your debts. Because again, the borrower is slave to the lender. And if you have a massive amount of debts, that's why this economy works the way it does. That's why we're in what's called an employer's market. What does that mean? That means the working people are so bombarded with debt, they will take a job for less than their worth because they've got all this debt that they've got to manage. So employers know this. That's why wages in this country have flatlined for the last 50 years. Employers know that you have debt obligations and you must maintain a job to take care of those debt obligations. As a result, you're going to get up, go to work every day to a job that you don't like to earn money less than what you need to actually maintain those debts. So they're able to compress wages and keep you stagnant. But because of your debt obligations, you got to stay on that hamster wheel. But guess what? You can take that low-paying job, but also learn how to sell something. So what happens is this. I got debt obligations, so I've got to take a job. They're not paying me what I'm truly worth. And I know a lot of you older people have experienced this. Once you get 30 years worth of experience and you're at 50, 55 years old and you go out to get a job, they're not trying to pay you for all that 30 years worth of experience. You worth $1 million a year to that company. What they're going to try to do, they're going to try to downplay it like, hey, all right, cool. You got some good skills. We'll give you X amount of dollars. They want to bring you on for less than what you worth. But that's okay. We got to have a job to take care of our today's lifestyle. But that's why it's important to learn how to sell. So you get on that job and you take that low paying, those wages that are beneath you. I get it. But you also know how to sell. So you're on that job and you're making wages that help you manage your debt. Right? So you're able to pay the car note, you're able to pay the mortgage, you're able to pay the furniture lease, you're able to pay the student loan debt. But because now you understand that selling is not a bad thing, you understand that selling is not manipulation, you understand that selling is the ability to uncover your value. Now you start selling and making an extra $1,000 a month that you start throwing on your debt. Eventually your debt disappears. Now you have options, right? All we're doing is talk about getting money as an issue out of the way so you have options, right? Because you're giving 8 hours of your day up, but you're making $1,000 a month in sales. At that point, when you have no debt obligations, now your cost of living, your expenses are extremely low. At that point, you might say, you know what? This $1,000 a month can actually sustain me, can pay my rent. I don't have a car note. I can eat off this. And then if I get my 8 hours a day back from the job, then I can start making $5,000 a month instead of $1,000 a month if I pour all of my energy and attention into my ability to sell and uncover my value, right? So that's what this thing is all about. You got to learn how to sell. You can take that extra money to settle your debts. And then number 8, you move from that place to sustain your turnaround. What does that mean? You put yourself in position where you're making what's called non-wage income. That means you're not only getting to the point where you're out of debt and you're getting to the point where you're making a few $1,000s a month via your ability to sell. You have to get yourself to the position where you're making income without having to do any labor for it. It's called non-wage income. So while you're learning how to sell, after you get yourself out of debt, you have to start putting your money in places that will bring money back to you without the effort. I talk about it this way all the time. because I have a greenhouse in the backyard. I like growing stuff. So there are some things that are what's called annuals. That means you plant them one time and you just maintain them. They just continue to grow. And then there's some things that you have to, annuals you have to plant every year. Perennials you plant one time and they grow. So some things you have to plant every year, and it takes your labor to plant those things every year, but you're going to eat off those things every year. But here's the deal. While I got some things that I plant annually, I also have a few trees that I plant them one time. And all I do is make sure that they're watered, make sure that they're trimmed and all that sort of thing. So while I'm planting this stuff annually, I'm also building something that's going to produce for me without the labor. So eventually, this is the way God designed this thing. Eventually, I get to a place where I'm either too old and physically not able to do the labor of planting annually, or I just don't want to, right? But I get to that place, and guess what? I have a orchard, a grove of trees that produce for me without any of my labor. The only labor that I have to do is go pick the apples up off the ground, pick the peaches up off the ground, pick the pears up off the ground, pick the collard greens off the tree plant, because you plant it one time and it grows, but it takes a while to get there. So while you are learning how to sell and you've got that extra money coming in and you're using that to eliminate your debt, now that your debt is gone, now you take the money, some of that money, and you put it in some sort of investment that's going to pay you without you having to do the work. And that investment could be in precious metals, gold, silver, whatever. That investment could be in paper assets, stocks, bonds, mutual funds. That investment could be in real property, real estate, land. Doesn't matter. But you want to be able to put that money somewhere where you're going to be able to draw an income from that money without you having to put in any additional labor. And that's where you get to sustenance. You get to sustain your turnaround. All right. That's where it comes. You know, I think of the word integrity in your finances. You got to do something to eat today, but then you have to have the integrity in your finances and the forethought and the foresight to say, you know what, I'm going to take a little piece of this every time I get some income. I'm going to put it somewhere that's going to, and some sort of asset that it will increase in value. And then when the time comes, I'm going to be able to draw an income from those assets without me having to work. So guys, we're a little bit past the hour, half hour. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Let me give you a recap of the 8 steps to your financial turnaround. And if you are in need of a coach or a mentor, I'll tell you how you can get a hold of me. Subscribe to my Financial Success membership, and then that could take you to another level financially, as you'll have someone holding your hand and walking with you. So 8 steps to your financial turnaround. And again, this came from my man, Myron Golden. All right. If you don't know who that is, then Google Myron Golden. You look at his talk on these 8 things. He goes into a lot deeper detail. But I just wanted to give that to you guys. And because we talked about submitting to a teacher or a mentor, if your mentor doesn't have mentors, they can only take you so far. And some people will say, well, why are you giving your resources out? Why are you telling where you're getting this information from? I did the 7 Keys to Wealth by Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, because I want you guys to know how to go straight to the source. All right. I don't have a problem with being your mentor. I love you guys. You tune in all the time. But guess what? If you can outgrow me, then that's the name of the game for me. So I tell you exactly where to go, because maybe you have more than this 30 minutes to spend with me. Maybe you have an hour, maybe you have 2 hours. So you do this 30 minutes with me, and then you go check out Myron Golden, you go check out Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, you go check out Dr. Boyce Watkins, and you just continue to feed yourself, because I'm not selfish enough to say that, you know what, everybody that I mentor is going to stay beneath me. No, my game plan is to open you up to the possibilities of where you can be. And if I cannot get you there, I'm going to pass you on to another mentor who can, right? That's my integrity. That's me saying, you know what? I realize that I'm at a certain point. Myron Goldman is a best-selling author and a multi-millionaire. I'm not there yet. So if you want to be coached and mentored by a multi-millionaire who's going to help you grow faster than I can, then I'm going to usher you that way, right? That's the name of the game here. For me, it's personal financial success for you. And if you can get that through another channel, if you can get that faster than I can help you get that, then by all means, I want you to take that route. So again, Myron Golden, go check out his programs. He is an excellent teacher on biblical principles to finance, success, wealth, and wisdom. I swear he will blow your mind if you go check out some of his stuff. But the 8 steps are this. Number one, you have to first seek a turnaround. You gotta, there's one thing to be sick and tired. There's another thing to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. And then the third thing, and the third place you'll get is being sick and tired of being sick and tired and ready to do something about it. You got to seek a turnaround first. Number two, you have to see your treasures, right? You have to see the value in yourself, the value in the skills, the talents, the gifts, the abilities that you have. You have to see that value in yourself, because when you do, you walk with your head held high, and other people will start seeing that value in you. And when people see the value in you, they will compensate you based on the value that you bring to the table. Number three, you have to submit to a teacher. And again, if that teacher, that mentor does not have a mentor himself, he's only going to be able to take you so far. So you're submitting to mentors who have mentors who are continuing to grow and evolve. And even when that mentor is telling you to do something that you don't understand why you need to be doing it, just keep in mind that mentor is at a place that you want to be, or is on his way to that place, or has been there. So there's some things that you can't even foresee right now that he's helping you to get around, get over, or get through. So just understand that word submission is key when it comes to mentorship, because I promise you, your mentors will always tell you to do some things that you're not comfortable with. And why is that? Because while there is safety and security inside the comfort zone, nothing ever grows there. So as a mentor, my job would be to pull you or encourage you or to push you outside of that comfort zone, because that's where the growth takes place. And then I want to help you live there, because then you will grow exponentially faster. All right. Number four, you're going to select your team. The word self-made millionaire, that term, that phrase is an oxymoron. There's no such thing as a self-made millionaire. There's no such thing. All millionaires have a team. I have a team of people that helps me day in and day out. And that the core of that team, it starts with my honey, then my children, and then I have a couple close friends, and then I have a business team outside of that circle. So you think about a tiny circle surrounded by a slightly bigger circle, then a slightly bigger circle, then a slightly bigger circle. That's what your team looks like. And you have to have a team. I said it earlier in the show, I'll say it again for those who you just jumped on. The ancient proverb that I live by says this: to go fast, go alone, but to go far, go together. So I'm looking for people who want to go together so we can go far. I can go extremely fast by myself, right? But I'm not going to get to my dreams and my goals by myself. I need a team. You need a team. So you select your team. Once you select your team, then you have to systemize the tasks for your team, right? All wealthy people have these systems. 4 things that wealthy people have. They have passive income or leverage income. That means they make income off the leverage of other people or other things. They have residual income. They understand that they can create something of value one time and get paid off that one-time effort over and over and over. They have multiple streams of income, right? They don't just have income coming from a job. They don't just have income coming from one business. They have income coming from real estate. They have income coming from business systems. They have income coming from stocks, bonds, mutual funds. They have income coming from assets like art collections. They have income that comes from precious metals that they may own, a little bit in gold and silver and things of that nature, right? And then the 4th thing that all wealthy people have in their life is business systems. Why are systems important? Because systems, the acronym for systems says you're going to save yourself some time, energy, and money. When you understand that time is your most precious asset, then you'll see the need to have systems, because yes, on my board right here, it says I need to make $2,739.72 per day. That gets me $1 million in a year. We want to be $1 million per year family around here. That's why it's right here in the kitchen. So every time we sit down and eat, we see that number and we know that that's what we're aspiring to. But guess what? If it takes me 22 hours a day to make that, that's not worth it to me. So I need systems in my life that will help me make that same $2,700 in about 3 or 4 hours. I'm willing to give 3 or 4 hours of my life to make $2,700 a day. And you can't do that unless you have systems. That way I have the other 20 hours of my day to build the relationships with my family, build the relationships with my team, do everything else that I need to do. So systems are very important. Once you systemize your tasks, then you have to do the most important thing outside of selecting or seeking your turnaround. Guys, we're talking about a financial turnaround. You have to learn how to sell. Point blank, period. Selling is not a bad thing. Selling does not equal manipulation. That's media talk. That is school education talk. We've been trained to think that selling equals manipulation. Every time you see the image of a salesperson on TV, whether it's a comedy, movie, whatever, that salesperson is seen as a sleazeball. You don't want to be equated with a sleazeball, so you don't like selling. But none of us would have a job today. None of us would have anything to do if there wasn't somebody selling. If somebody didn't sell me this webcam and this computer, this cell phone, I wouldn't be able to be here on this live stream. So we have to disassociate the term selling with manipulation. Being a salesman with being a sleazeball. A salesman simply uncovers the value of the things he has to offer and communicates to you how that value can help you reach the goal or attain the mission that you have set for yourself. So you have to learn how to sell. Every second, every minute, every hour of every day, something is being bought and sold. The question is only this: who's getting the commission, right? So you got to learn how to sell. And then once you learn how to sell, you settle your debts. You take that extra income and you pay off any debt that you have, because you want to reduce your living expenses so that it doesn't constantly require more and more and more of your effort to make more and more and more of your money. I want to get my income, my expenses down to about $1,000 a month. You know why? Because I can kick over rocks for a month long and find $1,000. Right? If you get your income, your expenses down to $1,000 a month, hell, I mean, I can literally roll over a few rocks and probably find $1,000 a month. What happens is every time we get an increase in income, we increase our lifestyle. We continue to increase our lifestyle, then it costs more and more for us to live. So it takes more and more of our labor to make more and more money, because we don't understand how to sell. We don't understand how to create systems, right? And then once you take that extra income and settle your debts, then it becomes, the focus becomes sustaining your turnaround. So all that simply means is this. All that simply means is this. You're going to get yourself in position to where you don't have any debt. You know how to sell. You have systems working for you. Now you get to that place and you spend the rest of your life acquiring income producing assets. And those assets, so my goal in life is to do 2 things on my way to being a billionaire, right? My goal in life is to do things: eliminate my debt, spend the rest of my life acquiring income producing assets, and then spending the rest of my time teaching my children how to grow, protect, and pass those assets down to the next generation. That's all I'm trying to do. I got to first get myself financially healthy. And then once I'm financially healthy, 0 debt, I'm going to spend the rest of my life doing 2 things: acquiring income producing assets and teaching my children how to do the same thing and how to build up on the foundation that I'm laying. I may be able to get around in my lifetime to building, you know, maybe the first 10 floors to this thing. But then they're going to, with the knowledge that they have, plus the resources I pass down, they're going to be able to turn around and build a skyscraper on that thing. And then their children are going to be able to take that one skyscraper and build a skyline, a city line full of skyscrapers. And then their children are going to learn how to take that and build empires up on that. So guys, that's the power of this 8-step turnaround. Seek a turnaround, see the treasure, see the value in yourself, submit to a teacher, select your team, systemize your tasks, learn to sell, settle your debts, and then sustain your turnaround. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this morning. I'm Ace Cortez, financial health mentor to the working class. I said I would tell you how to get a hold of me. What you do is, before that, let me give you the sponsor for today's show is National Credit Educational Services. One thing that I want you guys to understand is the power of credit. Yes, I talk about getting out of debt, get out of personal debt, but also learn how to leverage business credit to buy assets. Wealthy people buy assets with other people's money. Say that again. Some of y'all missed that. Wealthy people buy their assets with other people's money, and they don't even pay for the assets. They then take other people to pay for the assets. So for instance, they will take the bank's money, buy a 10-unit apartment complex, then have a tenant pay the bank their money back, but then they own the asset. That's the name of the game, guys. Buy your assets with other people's money, leverage credit, then get other people to pay back the debt, and you keep the asset. That's another show for another time. But National Credit Educational Services will get your credit restored for you. So if you're interested in that, shoot me an inbox. I will get you the link so that you can plug in with them, and they will teach you how to do it yourself. Excuse me. Or they will do it for you, a flat fee of $350, and they will do it for you. And it's a long-term, ongoing relationship. It's not, hey, bang, 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 I'm gonna increase you, get your score up, 10 points or whatever, and then I'm gonna leave you. No, it's ongoing. It's a long process to restore your credit, get everything on there that shouldn't be on there, restore the things that are on there, get them back to reporting in a positive light, so that increases your score. So if you want information on my financial success membership, then I want you to text financial success. So text your name and financial success to 314-874-6887. Again, text your name and the words financial success to 314-874-6887. If someone could put that in the chat for me, that would be great. Again, 314-874-6887. Text your name and the words financial success. And I'll give you some information on my financial success membership that will teach you how to minimize your taxes, eliminate your debt, free up the cash that you need to invest. We also provide investment education on how to grow your money. And then for those who are ambitious, you can actually refer people to me, and I'll pay you a commission for referrals as well. So that is my time. I am Ace Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the working class. You're tuning in to Talking Money in the Morning live, where I bring this practical, proven wealth building strategies and wisdom and principles to you guys Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. Every morning. And hopefully you guys are getting value from this. Looks like you do based on the comments that you are putting into the chat. So until I talk to you in tomorrow's episode, I haven't decided what tomorrow is going to be. And I promise, guys, I'm going to get a little bit better with that, because I know that sometimes when you anticipate what tomorrow's show is going to be about, you get excited, you tell more people. But sometimes I have to sleep on it. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and say, bam, this is what I need to tell you. And that's why I do it this way. But if I ever get to a place where I can start scheduling these shows, and I certainly will, because I understand how that could help you guys better prepare to tune into the show. So until I talk to you in the next video, I want you to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. Peace out.